Welcome to the weekly Extra Point Live. We're back from the dead here for the Roadshow edition here in Brossard, Quebec for the Div 5 final between Les Maloudes and, of course, 2.5 Dans. Here with me for the Div 5 pregame show is the rookie himself, Simon Dagenet. How you been, sir?
Good, yourself?
I'm okay. You know, it's a little bit different going from podcast back to webcast, but we're back in the flesh here. And, of course, the now wily veteran himself, a man who is a pedigree champion, a pedigree broadcaster, writer for the FPF, none other than GM Clarettes. How you been, sir?
I'm very good. I'm very happy to be here. Thank you for the warm words. I'm very excited. I'm excited to be here as a journalist, as a player as well. But my duties are here right now, and I'm excited to watch the D5 game.
Well, obviously, we have 2.5 Dans against Les Maloudes, and this is a situation we look at here where both teams not favored to come out of Div 5, and here they are in the finals. Now, I'll ask you the first question, GM, is this. How big of a loss is it that Ludwig Janaji, I heard Kananji, so I just want to make sure I got the proper pronunciation in this. How big of a loss is it that he is not going to be in this game for this team?
Absolutely, it's going to be a big loss for them. He's a big presence on both sides of the ball. He's got deceptive speed for his size. And for the offense that Joey Taylor runs, where he likes to overload one side, you really do want someone big and physical in there. He's able to choose between two receivers. He's able to cover a lot of ground, and that's a big loss for them. He was a big player for them all season, but that being said, you reap what you sow, and he definitely merited this after his actions in the TCO game, not just at the end of the TCO game, but throughout the whole game in general. He's a big loss for them. They're going to need some other guys to step up at the same time.
Well, of course, for those who saw it, the TCO game against Les Maloudes was a very intense game, and in fact, afterwards, there was a little fisticuffs between the two teams. Now, Simon, looking at this, will their emotions cost them this game, considering how much they like to verbally jab the opposition?
I think it's going to go their way instead of going against them. I think against a team like 2.5 Dans, it's something that's going to affect 2.5 Dans more than it's going to affect Les Maloudes. And they might get the momentum earlier than they expected, and they might get the win that way.
Now, GM, you look at this game here, and obviously 2.5 Dans, and the funny story was that there's 6 players. I mean, we look at that, and we're like, well, how could there be 6 players and be at this point of the season? Will this hurt them now at this juncture where if a player goes down, if a player's off for 3 plays or maybe out for the game, given that Les Maloudes have a very deep roster, more than 6 for sure, will that hurt them though?
Yeah, that's going into what Simon just said. The type of game style that Les Maloudes play, that's going to get under the skin of 2.5 Dans. They haven't really seen this before, and they're only 6. So if there's an altercation, if someone gets hurt, they're going to be down to 5, and that's really going to hurt them. Playing as 6 has been fine for them throughout the season, but you want to have at least one guy with contingency, especially the fact that Les Maloudes have Sean Lafortune at quarterback. He likes to go deep on occasion. They've got capable players like Anthony Beauchamp-Fretza, who's amazing at the deep ball. And with only 6 players, I would say if I were Les Maloudes, I would try and exploit that and have them tired. So make them have a choice, either go 100% on offense or 100% on defense, and that's when you start to tire them out.
Looking at Les Maloudes right now, Simon, and seeing how they are as a team, last week we saw them exploit the flat routes with their snapper and their inside receivers, continually gain first downs and touchdowns. Will that be a part of their game plan against 2.5 Dans?
I think so. I think it's going to be something that's going to rely a lot on. I think it's been something they've been relying on every game since they've been winning. They've been playing amazing football, and I think it's something that their way to the victory. I think that's going to go down tonight.
You look at, as we mentioned before, with Les Maloudes quarterback, Lafortune, what he has to do. Is there more pressure on him in this game, considering that Joey Taylor, 54 TDs during the regular season, almost 20 TDs in the playoffs here? Does Lafortune have to play lights out in this game?
I don't think so. I think Lafortune doesn't need to have big stats to get the win. He's been playing great. He's been 10-1 ever since they started winning again. Actually, ever since he's been quarterbacking, he's been 10-1. He's been playing great. Doesn't have those huge numbers, but in the end, he wins, and that's all that matters.
GM, who has to play lights out in this game here? I mean, you look at 2.5 Dans. I mean, 6 guys. Look at Les Maloudes. They're losing a player themselves. Who has to be that guy for both teams today?
I think for 2.5 Dans, we talk about how this is a very quarterback-centric league. It's going to have to be Joey Taylor. A lot of this is going to rest on his shoulders. It's his first finals. It's his first season in the league. And he's going to have to call plays that adjust to Les Maloudes' defense. They've been doing the same thing all year, and I think that if Les Maloudes pick up on that, Joey's going to need to have a contingency plan. And on the other end of the ball, I think it's going to be Dragan Millet for Les Maloudes. With Ludwig Janaji out, Sean Lafortune needs someone physical who he goes to often. It was Janaji, but also it was Dragan Millet, especially in the TCO game. We were discussing the flats before. He loves sending the center out on a 3-out, on a 5-out, even just a little slant. So Dragan Millet will be a big presence in this game. He's also got deadly snaps. He gives Lafortune time from the rusher to make that extra second read. So I think that if it's going to be someone on this team, it's going to be Dragan Millet. Also someone who was close to being suspended as well. He got into the heated words with TCO and the physicality as well, but managed to stay out of it. So as long as he keeps composure here, he could be a big threat in this game.
Simon, anything that you want to add to this? Will size be an issue? Considering that 2.5 Dan is not really a big football team here. They almost look like the trophies that we have in our background, in our display over here. But do you think size will be a factor, given that Les Maloudes are a big, thick, physical football team?
Size will be a matter. I think that it's going to be one of the impacts for Les Maloudes tonight. I think that 2.5 Dans are going to have to put up with it somehow. They're going to have to figure it out before it's too late. I think they're going to have a little bit of issues early on during the game. They'll have to fix it up before halftime.
All right, guys, it's time for our predictions. And, of course, one could be right, one could be wrong, or both could be wrong, or who knows what could happen. Both could be right. We'll find out in 1 hour's time here. GM, I'm putting you on the spot. Well, since you're on the spot right now. But who is your finals winner in about 1 hour's time?
I see it being Les Maloudes. Simon touched on earlier about the first half and the second half. I think this will be a battle of the second half. I kind of see 2.5 Dans taking the lead early on and even into the first half at the halftime. But I see that Les Maloudes are a bit more of a capable football team. They've got a QB with experience despite his age at 15. They've got guys who play for Jean-Eudes High School, whereas 2.5 Dans, they're not really off-the-field football players, off FPF football players. I think that they've got the mechanics, they've got the know-how. Not 2.5 Dans, but Les Maloudes will be the one to take this and in the second half.
Simon, it's now time for your prediction, your first ever on the road show. So hopefully you can be perfect. If not, we kick you off the show after the game. But who do you have winning this game in 1 hour's time?
Sadly, I'm going to have to go with GM as well, with Les Maloudes. I think they'll be more physical. They'll be a better team tonight. Not saying that 2.5 Dans are not good enough for this finals, but I'm just thinking when you look at the size of Les Maloudes, the way they've been playing, the way they know how to play in pressure situations, I think that Les Maloudes are going to take this one by 2 scores tonight.
Well, I am wearing this lucky sweater tonight in hopes of having a few good final finishes here. And Div 5 will be the leadoff of this broadcast. And for the first time ever, the FPF will be doing a live broadcast with my Danish guy, Darren Basmanjan, as the lead play-by-play. And, of course, Paulo De La Rocca De La Riza Pizzi, who is a part of the Div 5 podcast, doing the club commentary. So I hope you enjoyed that. Coming up next, the play-by-play. And stay tuned for the post-game show where Simon and GM and I will break down this game and give you our thoughts on what happened, what we liked and disliked from the Div 5 final. Coming up next, the Div 5 broadcast.
Welcome, everybody, to the Division 5 championship game. I am your play-by-play analyst, Darren Basmajan. With me, color analyst Paulo De La Rocca.
How's it going, Darren?
Going great. I'm excited for this game here featuring Les Maloudes and 2.5 Dans. Quick thoughts on this game before we get started.
It's great to see 2 new teams. Great to see 2 teams that no one would think would get here, and I think we're in for an exciting one.
I think so as well. A lot of controversy with one of these teams, Maloudes, playing one man down. They had a suspension issue. Talk to me a bit about that scenario.
Well, it was in their last game against TCO. It's 2 teams that like to talk a lot. We saw Will Hurst getting into it all game with
of TCO. Will Hurst
of TCO, yes, with
Ludwig Jananji.
That's the one, Ludwig Jananji, and unfortunately, it went from heated words and to blows, and then Jananji at the end of the game ran to the TCO bench and just very unsportsmanlike. To be honest, great guys overall. It's a shame that the game ended that way because it was a great game, and it's a shame that it'll be remembered for how it turned out rather than the game itself.
Well, we're lucky enough that at this point, I think that things will be under control.
I
Things
think
will be
so
calm
as well.
for this one. Obviously, warnings have been issued, but I think that this is going to be just a good, hard-played game, worthy of being the Division 5 championship.
And we had Dragan Maloudes at the press conference, and he said, he was apologetic about what happened. He sort of defended his guys at the same time, but was able to say, look, you know what, we're sorry about the way it turned out, and they respected the league's decision, and that's where we're at now.
I gotta say, it's the right tack to take. It's not an easy situation to deal with, especially going into the finals. Especially since Janadji was a major red zone threat for this team.
Yeah, I mean they have Guillaume Saint-Amand, who's another big dude, and it's I think that he'll be able to fill in that role, and he was sort of that second red zone threat, as well as snapper Dragan Maloudes, who I just mentioned. I think either way, Lafontaine will have his targets, but obviously when you have a guy that you've built a rapport with, specifically in crunch time in the red zone, that's a guy that you'd like to be able to lean on.
Just looking at the numbers here, Janadji had 7 touchdowns in the regular season. Okay, that's okay. But in the playoffs, in their 4 games, he had 6 touchdowns to lead the team.
Which
so
is
this
massive.
Is a guy who stepped up his game in TCO, even in that game against TCO. He was excellent.
Well, in fact, on the first play where he got sent off for UR, he got dragged down in the end zone by Will Hurst, and was after he made a huge play. So sort of the emotion, getting caught up in the emotion that,
Well, enough about that. This game is ready to start. We're finally here, Division 5 Championship, ready to go underway. 2.5 Dans will start off with the ball.
We see him starting off in trips, Darren.
Yep, trips to the right of their offensive football field. Joey Taylor rolling to the left, throws it, caught by
Danny McPhee picks up the catch in the flat. We have a flag early. We'll have to see what that's all about.
Obviously, as you've mentioned to me before the game, rolling out is a huge part of Joey Taylor's game. They like to move that pocket.
It's going to be interesting to see if an experience. Well, I mean, they don't have a lot of flag experience, but an experienced football team like Maloudes will adjust by inserting shoots and rotating defenses to compensate for that.
And now, so the 2.5 Dans gained some yards on that penalty. They are now at roughly about midfield. Danny McPhee getting ready to send the snap to Joey Taylor, who again fakes rolling to his left, cuts back to his right. Pass caught by Eric Maiorino, running down the sideline, steps out of bounds at about the 10-yard line. Big gain for 2.5 Dans.
Once again, we see Joey Taylor using his athleticism, being able to make a play. Smart play call, getting the defense going one way and then come back the other.
That's the main thing, because we all know he's going to roll at this point. We know that that's their game plan. But if you keep using those fakes, get the defense to roll one way, and then you catch them flat-footed is a big play for them. And they've been getting it done week in, week out, Peace.
Absolutely.
And so now they're on the 10-yard line, getting ready, almost in the red zone. Quick pass dumped off to Danny McPhee. Gets a few yards before he is tackled.
Danny McPhee is so exciting with the ball in his hand. He's so explosive. Seeing him work in space, I think, will be tough for the Maloudes to compensate for. So we'll have to see how that plays out moving forward in the game.
He's been a big target for Joey Taylor. 41 receptions for him on the regular season.
Why can't I ever have a quarterback that throws a snapper? It'd be nice to see.
Well, you're the captain of the team, so you could probably fix that.
Yeah, I tend to replace some guys.
A dump off to the left side of the field, caught for a few yards by Foti Evangelista, but not much more gain than that. This is bringing up 4th down, Peas. This is the first big circumstance.
4th down in the red zone. We'll have to see if the typically poised 2.5 Dans will be sort of maintaining what they've done all season and their ability to stay calm under pressure.
Well, here we go. Like I said, first big moment of the game. Joey Taylor getting ready to take the snap, rolling to his left, pressured, throws it deep, out of bounds, and that's going to be a turnover on downs. Great pressure by the rusher for Les Maloudes here.
Yeah, he kind of got after him and forced Joey Taylor, who typically throws well, rolling out. Basically had to have Taylor thrown on his back foot, unable to make the play in the back of the end zone.
Yeah, Anthony Nguyen had that sniffed out from the start. Big play. I guess that was... I saw a ref signaling that it was 4th down, but it looks like that was maybe 3rd down. Yeah. So I guess
we need to get those guys with the big sticks.
Yeah, we need those yard markers here. So the count seemed off, but I saw the fist that signals 4 downs, right? So
well, in that case, it was a great job by Taylor to safely get rid of the ball.
Well, you see Joey Taylor going with a hard count there, buying himself some time. Caught. One-handed grab, but is he in? Short.
Oh, my God.
The 1-yard line. First big play of the game here. Turnover on down.
It looked to me, Darren, that the ball was in, but remember on FPF, the flags have to cross the plane.
That's right. The hips have to cross the plane. Major play by the Maloudes defense, holding up in the red zone.
In the infamous words of Shakira, the hips don't lie, Darren.
They do not, and in this case, they don't either. It was a big grab, a nice catch by Maiorino, but he was held just shy.
Yeah, and it was great to see him catch the ball with one hand, sort of spin back inwards, but unable to get in. So tough starting spot for Lafortune and the Maloudes offense. Let's see how this turns
Gotta
out.
be very careful here. Lafortune, quick pass. That was a bit of a dangerous pass on the left side of the field to Louis-Philippe Paquette, getting 5 yards, getting out of the end zone.
If that's thrown a couple inches to the inside, that's a pick six.
Well, that's a mark of a quarterback with confidence, please.
Yeah, and a great arm.
And a great arm. And he really had a tight window there. He made the pass, and that's all he had to do.
What amazes me about Lafortune is the catchability of his ball. Just everything comes out so smoothly. His receivers never seem to have trouble handling it.
Yep, and that brings them out of the end zone. He's going to be taking the snap about the 2 or 3 yard line. Getting ready to take the snap from Dragan Mallet, captain of this team. Lafortune surveying the field. Gets the snap, looks to his right. Quick catch and gain of about 5 or 6 yards by Vincent Morissette. Again, things going well for him. He's hitting those outs.
And what's interesting is we're seeing two teams that sort of operate the same way, hitting up the flats, moving down the field. Now we saw the Maloudes make a stop. Now the pressure's on 2.5 Dans to be able to stop the Maloudes offense, which is moving quite smoothly.
Lafortune again surveying the field, looking again to his right, again finding those tight windows, making the pass caught by Minh Hai Dan Huynh. And I hope he doesn't catch that many passes because that is a hard name to pronounce.
Yes. Let's call him Min.
All right.
Nice catch by Min.
Nice catch by Min on the right side of the field, gaining some yardage there. Lafortune is really confident here. He's not like these are passes you see Division 1 quarterbacks make. It's risky.
And
you never see this
he is
D5.
he's finishing secondary 4 right now. He's the youngest quarterback, I believe, in FPF, potentially the youngest player in FPF right now.
Interesting alignment here. Trips on the left side, and then another man, Anthony Nguyen, in the backfield. Hand
takes
off to
it.
Nguyen, who takes it, going to the right, but they sniffed that out, and a big tackle by Danny McPhee, snuffing that out right away.
It's amazing to see 3 guys take a horrible line to the ball and just be able to make up for it with their ridiculous athleticism.
And Nguyen, they use that a little bit. He's thrown some passes during the season. He's had a couple runs. They like that look of him in the backfield.
And I mean, it's not something that works necessarily in higher divisions, but sometimes in lower divisions, if you can sort of trick a defense, then who knows?
Heck, we've even seen the I formation in D5
That's
as
true.
recently as last year. Lafortune
In the finals.
goes over the middle to Dragan Mallet, his first catch of the game, gaining some extra yards. Missed tackle there, finally stopped after a gain of looked like about 7 or 8 yards.
Now, I wrote this in an article a couple of weeks ago when I thought that 2.5 Dans were going to lose, so evidently, what do I know?
You've thought that all season, basically.
Fair enough. But I mean, I mentioned that at times they seem to have trouble getting the flag. Will that continue to be the case, and will that plague them in this game against a very physical and quick Les Maloudes team?
Again, going with that trips to the left of Lafortune.
What shall we
Nguyen
call
in
this
the
formation,
back there.
Darren?
We're going to have to find one. We'll come up with it soon enough. Lafortune fakes the handoff, keeps it, going deep right. Mallet had a handle on it and bounced it out of bounds. Not the best play to run here. Like I said, it's good to see him so confident, but there's some of these passes are very, very risky.
I don't know why you would put it up there. He sort of threw it into an area where there were 2 defenders. Risky pass against the defense that can get after it.
I think he has a lot of trust in his receivers to come up there, and Mallet kind of tried to one-hand it. You have to be careful in that situation.
Yeah.
Bounce a pass up in the red zone, turnover, that could hurt.
Speaking from two guys with egos, you can't have an ego and necessarily go up with a hand in one spot and one hand in a spot like that.
Touchdown!
Oh, there it is. Dragan Mallet making up for it.
And there it is. You were talking about the
other
missed
red zone
tackle.
threats.
The missed tackle. It's the second time we've seen a missed tackle on Dragan Mallet. He's a big guy, but once he gets rolling with a head of steam, he's hard to stop. Usually that's more of a tackle football type of thing, but even in FPF, you've got to make that tackle, and the missed tackle results in the quick 6 for Les Maloudes.
But look what he did. He catches the ball, turns upfield right away, and finds himself standing in the end zone untouched.
Now it's up 6-0 for Les Maloudes. We'll see if Lafortune can put extra points on the board. They are going for 1 extra point. Lafortune looking left, goes back to his right. Good pressure there, and it's knocked away. Incomplete. 6-0 lead for Les Maloudes.
It's interesting. We saw 2.5 Dans essentially playing a cover 2 in the red zone. If they continue to do that, I think that Lafontaine's going to have a field day when he gets into the red zone.
They were very, very lucky that Dan Lepore got some very good pressure on, as you call him, I think Dirty Dan.
Dirty Dan.
I like that one. Dirty Dan Lepore got some good pressure on La Fortune. We're going to have to see how 2.5 Dans respond here. They got off to a very good start, get down to the red zone, and completely falter.
No, they're very calm. As I said, that's been their MO all season, so I don't think it'll shake them just yet. But they have to start putting up points because Les Maloudes can score.
And they look like they're on par. They're on target. They're ready to play. 2.5 Dans now. Joey Taylor pitches. And cutting back, big tackle by Anthony Wien, making his presence felt, and Dragan Mallet there to help him celebrate. That was a big play, pushing them even further back into their territory.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be a second and about 14 or 15, and very close. He's going to have to take the snap in the end zone.
Well, I said it was a dream start for the 2.5 Dans on their first drive. Nightmare start to this drive.
And one thing to note is Dan Aylward looked like he had the outside release available. They're gonna want to test that later on in the game.
Now we'll see if Joey Taylor, he's got to be safe and protect the ball. Going deep, intercepted by Maxime Leblanc on the right side of the Maloudes field. Big play again. Joey Taylor, just nothing working for him on those last 2 plays.
He was just waiting for that ball. And to be honest, like I just called out, Aylward had the outside line, had the fly been thrown to him. It would have been a touchdown, 2.5 Dans. Instead, we see Les Maloudes with great starting field position, ready to put up another 6.
And this is what I hate about having 6 guys is the quarterback doesn't even have time to break it down or think about what he did wrong there. He's got to go right back out and play defense.
But maybe the best thing is that he doesn't have time to think about what went wrong.
That's a good point as well. And Joey
Get it
Taylor
out of his head.
He's a big piece of their defense as well. La Fortune now in great field position. He looking to the left again to Mallet, and again almost a missed tackle again by Joey Taylor.
Again, taking advantage of that cover 2 defense by sending 2 guys, flooding the zone, having that short guy, putting him in a position where he had to make a choice, made a choice, but either way, quick, easy gain. La Fortune's going to continue moving the ball all game long unless 2.5 Dans will adjust. Well,
Mallet has been a big guy here for them, and he presents a big matchup difficulty for the 2.5 Dans defense. Obviously, they're not the biggest guys out there. La Fortune now surveying the field, pumps to his right, goes back over the middle to Mallet, and he is stopped just shy of the touchdown. Maybe about the 1 or 2 yard line. Big tackle to preserve it there.
It was an interesting fake double blitz by 2.5 Dans. Danny McPhee did drop back into coverage, but he was unable to take away that middle receiver.
La Fortune, everything going his way. We've seen like 1 incomplete pass all game, and that was the deep one over to the deep right of the field. Everything short has been working for them. Yeah,
and well, that's what they do. They're a very efficient offense. They move it forward every down, and that's what I expected to see.
La Fortune pumps to his left, goes back to his right. Dragan Mallet wide open, touchdown! The little celebration to add the sauce onto the touchdown. And it's a 12-0 lead for Les Maloudes.
And it's the same sort of play again. They flooded that one side. The guy was trailing underneath, could not get there, and it's another 6.
You can't, as a defense, you cannot afford to be that passive in the red zone.
No.
You can't take that chance, especially when a guy like Mallet has the size advantage on you. You've either got to make a break and jump that ball, but you can't just sit back and watch it happen.
No, you can't let him beat you to the outside because then La Fortune's way too accurate. You're not going to catch up.
And now it is a 12-0 lead. La Fortune taking the snap. He's looking to his left, rolls to his right, buying himself some time, and he's got Mallet. Oh! Big play to preserve the 12-point deficit.
Yeah. We saw Danny Aylward coming across on defense this time. I don't know if he actually got his hand on it or not, but either way it was enough to distract Mallet, and we see it stays at 12-0.
Looked like he might have gotten his fingertips on that one piece, but it was a big play nonetheless. 12 points, and we know those extra points can come in handy at the end of the game. How many times have we seen a game decided by those last 1 or 2 points?
Well, both these teams won for those reasons.
Exactly.
The converts this past week.
Exactly. So we'll have to see if that plays a part later in the game. Joey Taylor looks to his left. Potted. Whoa, that was a bit of a strange play there. Risky. They just look completely off 2.5 Dans.
They don't seem right in there. I think all the movement before the snap is sort of throwing Joey Taylor off, and I think the receivers are sort of seeing he's a little tentative, and they themselves look a little tentative as well.
Well, Dan Lepore got his fingertips on the ball, bounced it up. I almost thought that was going to be intercepted, and managed to snag it back, get a gain of a bit. Joey Taylor now rolling to his left, going back to his right, deflected by Anthony Nguyen again. So far for me, defensive MVP for Les Maloudes. It's a bit early, but he's been getting
I would
into
say
games with his
MVP
head.
of the game, even more so important than Lafortune because he got them that great field position early and has helped stop the drive in the red zone. But you know what? 2.5 downs, they're going to have to start testing the outside because I'm seeing outside receivers getting easy releases, throw the ball, let your playmakers make a play for you.
Now he's got Joey Taylor has trips on his right side, left side of your screen. He's looking to his right, cuts back to his left, evades the tackle. This might be a big one. Big catch by Danny McPhee. Huge gain for them. Busted play, but it works. That's what's gotten them here.
I didn't even see Danny McPhee in the play at all. I have no idea how he got there.
He's a little guy.
Yeah, he snuck up in there. You get a little Wes Welker type action, got into the open field, made a huge play once again.
But that's it for Joey Taylor. He was almost looking back and expecting the sack to happen, but this is the first big play for them since that first drive, and you see maybe this will get things going for them.
Well, hopefully gets them back on the rails. And a sack.
I guess not, but it wasn't Anthony Nguyen on that one. It was a different rusher coming in and making life difficult for Taylor.
Yeah, sometimes that happens there, where you see a different rusher come in, a different look for a defense, kind of throws the quarterback off, and we saw Taylor sort of struggle on that play.
And that was your boy Min.
Yeah.
Min Hai Dan Huynh coming up with the big sack for them, and he's coming in at rush now. They're kind of shifting a little bit, and he gets another sack.
He's got to get rid of the ball way quicker than that. He can't just rely on the rusher to miss every play.
Now, I was giving Nguyen all the credit before. I don't know. Maybe some of it is just Joey Taylor's being very indecisive. It looks like the moment is getting to him.
It's like I said in a couple of plays ago. He's been a little indecisive.
Yeah.
And he's got to get rid of the ball. He's got to do what's worked for him all playoffs, which is get rid of the ball, let your playmakers make plays for you, make the rusher feel useless because he's not getting to you.
That's it. And if it hasn't been Danny McPhee, we haven't seen much in terms of big plays for them. Let your receivers do the job. We'll see if Joey Taylor does that as he's receiving the pressure. Play after play, going deep down the middle. Intercepted. No, drop.
Just dropped.
Just dropped by Vincent Morissette. He got a great break on that ball, but falling down to the ground knocked the ball out. Was not to be, but still a big play for the Maloudes defense.
Yeah, Morissette sort of baited him there. Taylor doesn't have the strongest arm, so he's got to get rid of it quick on those deep balls. The ball was a little bit late. He wanted tall Dan Aylward to get up there and make a play. Wasn't able to get in there. Morissette was able to get in between them two.
And so the second turnover on downs for the 2.5 Dans offense. Nothing going well for their offense, it seems. And then they also had an interception. That's 3 turnovers so far on their first 3 drives. Disastrous beginning for them. Their defense is going to have to step up and make a play here, but they haven't done much against Sean Lafortune, who receives the snap, looking to his right. That was almost a big play there by Eric Maiorino. Jumps the pass, and he could have had 6.
Yeah, he should have had 6. In fact, he was playing on the other side before. He was the one who almost undercut that route. He's got to be careful. He can't get over aggressive, but we know that Lafortune likes to attack the flats, so you got to do something and take them away. I think at the very least, it's going to make Lafortune think twice before automatically dumping it onto the flats.
Absolutely, and that's what they needed to do on those first drives. It was too easy in the flats, too easy for those quick outs.
Too passive on defense, and they look like they're correcting it.
That's it. Now he's got Lafortune has trips to his left. We'll see what kind of package they roll out in the next few plays. He's pressured. Throws it over the middle. Again, almost intercepted. This time by Joey Taylor.
He could have flipped the fortunes right there. He could have given himself the ball in the red zone.
And Dirty Dan with great pressure on that one. And Lafortune, that's where you see the Division 5, the difference. I said he was making passes the Division 1 quarterbacks would attempt, but that's the inexperience there. You cannot hang that ball out to dry right over the middle. That's 2 passes in a row. That should have been pick 6.
That's 2 that he looked like he just wasn't reading the defense. He just threw to his first read no matter what.
And it's good job by 2.5 Dans adjusting so far. Lafortune takes the snap. Deflected and knocked down, but there is a flag on the play. Right side of the field. We'll have to see referee Jason Leclerc what his call is on this one. But again,
great pressure either way by Dan Lepore.
And it's looking, our helper here, our stat boy, GM Coletheris, is telling us that it looked like offside on the rusher. Thank you, GM.
It was close. I thought he might have gone back. I saw him stumble a little bit, but either way, I mean, that's the finals. You can't afford to make mistakes.
And unfortunately, what a great drive 2.5 Dans were having on defense there. New life for Sean Lafortune and the offense. He pumps twice,
jump like
makes
that.
him leap. You can't make that mistake. Throws over the middle. Oh! Looked like Anthony Nguyen was about to get truck sticked on that play.
Yeah, I mean, it's lucky that the Maloudes are such big guys. It looked like he wasn't affected by that at all.
It was a dangerous pass. Another one. I don't know what La Fortune has been thinking here. Throw the ball away. Your team is up big here. You've had big turnover after turnover on defense. Let your defense do it for you.
Yeah,
Fourth down now.
Especially since that was on third down.
Yeah.
And
they're going for it.
Yeah, well, they're going for it, of course. But I mean, third down was a down that they had to get rid of the ball. He's lucky to still have the ball and a chance to get on fourth.
La Fortune looking to his left. Now back to his right. He's got a man open. Catch by Anthony Beauchamp-Freza.
You know what? Maiorino has had some moments, but he got over aggressive. Looked like he was trying to bait the QB again. And he just wasn't able to get there in time. Great pass by La Fortune. And Les Maloudes are off to a huge lead. Hopefully they don't take their foot off the gas because 2.5 downs can come back in a hurry.
Well, what I liked about that play, you saw 3 guys rolling to the left. A lot of times that's when they opened up and they threw it down, checked down to Dragan Mallet. That's what was beating the 2.5 downs all game. This time, pumps to the left, goes back over the middle. Great adjustment on the ball.
And Beauchamp-Freza, to me, at the half point of the season, was their playmaker. He hasn't been a huge part of their offense in later weeks, but I'm glad to see him on the stat sheet again. Huge play for a touchdown for Les Maloudes.
18-0 lead for the Maloudes right now, and everything's going well for them. For La Fortune, waiting, going deep, and that one was not caught. A little bit of a complaint on the sides of the Maloudes, and I don't know what to make of that one there.
It's a couple of times where it's sort of an inadvertent contact, but that new rule was instigated for that, where you want to call guys for inadvertent contact because as the game goes on, if you don't set the tone early, guys will keep doing it, and I hope that doesn't get out of hand.
Yeah, absolutely. It just looked like the defender was just a little bit late, and he went a little bit low, which obviously is a risky maneuver.
Mm-hmm.
Rather not see that happen. It was really on the edge of what I would call. I wouldn't go further than that.
To see it happen twice in a drive is where you kind of start to ask the question, will it get worse?
I hope not.
And see a stacked defense. Sorry. It started off as a stacked, and now they're in standard formation.
Joey Taylor throws it to Danny McPhee, tackled after about a 6 or 7 yard gain, and it's really been all Danny McPhee all the time on offense.
And it's great to see Danny McPhee playing so well in the finals. That being said, they're going to have to look somewhere else for offense because Les Maloudes will adjust to that.
And what's crazy is it's been a very balanced offense throughout the season for them. But it seems like the only play is Joey Taylor throwing back over the middle. Caught by Danny Aylward. Great move to get some yak there.
Yeah.
And that finally things are moving.
Things are moving,
but
it was a horrible throw.
That's what I was going to say. It's a floater.
But he's gotten away with it all season, and I think it's just a lot of trust in his guys. Hopefully he's able to get away with it moving forward.
So now we have a balanced formation. Taylor.
Again, that fake.
Again, rolling to the right. That looks like, was it sack? No, they're saying incomplete. They're saying the sack happened just after the play. And partner in crime, Jem Calethris, here saying that maybe that should have been a flag guard. I don't know about that.
It's tough. I mean, it's definitely up for debate. I think the referees might have maybe swallowed the flag a little bit because they thought it was going to be a sack. Either way, ball fell out of harm's way, and another attempt here for 2.5 downs.
18-0 lead here for Les Maloudes. We'll see if the Dans can keep their positive momentum on this drive so far. Taylor rolling to his left, going almost caught. That would have been a tough grab for number 1, Eric Maiorino.
But Maiorino's got to do something to get his team back in it because, in my opinion, he's had chances to make plays, and he hasn't been able to do it. I think he's a guy who's got to step it up because a couple of times he could have turned the tide here and didn't.
Yeah, and we'll have to see now. Taylor starting to spread the ball a little bit more, trying to look at Aylward, look at Maiorino. We'll see if he gets more guys involved as he rolls to his left, and he's got a bit of a running lane, but he gets pushed to the sideline, almost intercepted.
I thought he threw that out of bounds.
Yeah, I thought either that or a sack, but it's now 4th down, and here we go again, Pease.
Yeah, and let's hope that the 2.5 downs actually have something special that they can call in this kind of situation, because if that's the case, it hasn't looked to be that way this game so far.
And I believe we also heard the whistle for 5 plays left, so this is going to be a situation where 2.5 downs got to make a play here. This is it. They need to score. Taylor looking deep to his left side, and it is incomplete out the back of the end zone. Looking for Danny McPhee. Another turnover on downs.
And there's one thing to keep in mind here, Darren, is that 2.5 downs actually started with the ball on offense. So Les Maloudes with the lead, 18-0.
4 plays left in the half.
And they'll be coming back with the ball. So I don't expect La Fortune to take any chances. But if he gets too greedy, that's a chance for 2.5 Dans to take advantage and come back.
Well, this is it now. The 2.5 Dans, I don't want to say it's panic mode here, but you got to be really, really careful.
Yeah. It's time to start making some plays.
It's time to change the way you're playing. They did good on the last drive. La Fortune made one great play, and that's all it took. Now La Fortune goes to his left, caught by number 2, Louis-Philippe Paquette, and he's stopped after a gain of about 7 yards.
Yeah, Paquette's one of these bigger guys that they have on Les Maloudes. Just really solid receivers, remarkably nimble for guys their size. I think that if he keeps getting them in open space in a different way from how 2.5 Dans operate in space, we can see Les Maloudes sort of turning it upfield and getting some great yards after the catch.
And they're calling timeout. Maloudes calling timeout. A good time to use it. I mean, you have one timeout per
anyway.
half and then a floater, so you might as well use it now with, I believe, 3 plays left in the half. It's going to be an interesting situation here. If the Maloudes can put another score on the board before this half is out, well, you got to think that's almost a guaranteed win for them.
Mm-hmm. I would think so. I mean, it's
anything can happen, but in the playoffs, in the finals, it's tough.
Yeah, it is tough, and I mean, especially when it's a new team that hasn't necessarily been in this situation very much.
And they only have 6 players. Again, I have to say, GM Calethris sounds like he might want to be in the booth here with us.
Seriously.
But he brought up a very good point. The timeout here, yes, it helps you pick your good play, but 2.5 Dans only have 6 players, and they must be exhausted after the half they've been chasing the ball nonstop.
I don't know if they get exhausted though. They seem to be these guys who just love running around.
Well, we'll have to see what happens. La Fortune looking to his right, pumps, looking back to his left, drops the pass over Joey Taylor, and it is caught by Beauchamp Freza for a big gain. Now that brings up, I think, 2 plays left now. They are in striking distance of the goal line. This is, again, a big situation. If 2.5 Dans want any hope of coming back in this game, they've got to make a stop on this drive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, 2.5 Dans, I want to say I've seen a lot of passive play on defense. Everyone seems just a little scared to make a mistake, but you can't be passive in your zones. You got to patrol your zones. You can't be guarding nobody. Joey Taylor, there's nobody in front of him on that play. Yeah. He's got to drop back to give his safety help. He wasn't there. You got to be more active in the finals.
Trips look for La Fortune here. 3 guys to his left. And he's going to try and put some more points on the board as is an 18-0 lead for Les Maloudes. He drops it over the middle, caught, and with a little move, is he in? Stopped at the 1. Third time this game we've seen someone stopped at the 1.
Well, it's the finals, right? I mean, guys are really giving it all they can. I like the play call there. A rub play with a little bit of room to operate in front of the end zone.
Morissette comes up with the catch and a little bit of extra yardage. And this is bringing up, again, a big situation for Les Maloudes. If they score here, like we said, it's almost game over.
Yeah.
And La Fortune has been on par all game. Had a little bit of stumbles last drive, but put it together for one play. Now he takes the snap, looking to his right. Caught by Dragan Mallet. Makes sure to get down in the end zone, and that is another touchdown for the big man and the captain of Les Maloudes.
And now this is the second drive where we actually see 2.5 Dans playing man-to-man defense in the red zone. And if that's the case, you cannot let Mallet get to the outside, because once that ball's thrown outside, he's such a big receiver. He's such a fast, physical player.
And Mallet is hurt.
He does look hurt.
He looks hurt. Looks like it was his left shoulder, I think, when he went down making that catch. And that's a big loss for them because he's been tearing it up, and he's their snapper. As we know, you're a snapper.
Snappers are the most important position on the field. GM Calethris is nodding in silence.
And as you know, Checkmate went 10-0, lost their snapper, lost the game.
Yes, because their snapper was injured.
Because the snapper was injured, obviously.
Being peasy, of course.
Now they've got Anthony Nguyen coming in at snapper. He's going to hut the ball. There's a bit of a low snap.
Trouble with the exchange.
Adjusts, pumps to the right, goes back over the middle. Caught!
Great catch.
Wow.
Is that Morissette again?
It was Morissette again, and he's been another guy coming up big. And that was the last play of the half. So now it is a 25-0 lead for Les Maloudes.
Is there anything that you think they can do to come back into this game?
For the
2.5 Dans, that is.
I don't know. Please, I don't know. They have to be a lot more aggressive on defense and on offense. They've got to, first of all, no huddle offense. Just play schoolyard ball here. That plays to their strengths, in my opinion. Roll a little bit, dump it off. You'll get some extra yards. They have playmakers.
But one thing that Taylor doesn't do well is throw the ball deep. It's sort of like a Chad Pennington kind of arm. Very accurate. He's a very intelligent quarterback, but he floats it on those deep balls. And if he is going to do that in this game, it's going to get dangerous.
Well, I definitely don't think that deep is their game. But I do
No.
think if you do quick plays, try and put the Maloudes defense on their heels. Quick passes, dump off to the right, dump to the left, roll, run. Use some running too. There's running lanes open for him. He's always looking for the pass, which is admirable in a quarterback. But at this point, you got to change it up because the rushers are playing him very, very tight.
In fact, if on offense Joey Taylor can beat the rusher and get some running yards, it's a way to slow down that rusher. That rusher is going to start to break down early, and you'll have more time to make decisions in the pocket.
Absolutely.
He can't hear any of this, of course. So
Yes, of course.
we're shouting out advice to someone who can't hear us.
And to be honest, they didn't listen to you all season. You didn't think they'd make it that far. They did anyways.
What are they, 13-1 at this point?
Yeah, 13-1. Won
So
4
there we
games
go.
in the playoffs, 9-1 in the regular season. A lot of people didn't have faith in them, but they've done what they had to. Peace.
Yes, they have, and you know what? I wouldn't be surprised to see a team of their caliber come back, but it's going to be tough because Les Maloudes just looks so tough. I mean, I think just it plays to their nature to see, a team that gets so emotionally involved, and when a team like that gets up, they sort of start to believe in their own hype.
Yeah.
And we sort of saw that last year when No Regard went up in the first half. Let's see if this plays out similar to the Division D finals of last spring. Either way, Les Maloudes just look ready. If they keep the pressure on, this game will be over, and they'll be holding the trophy in 22 minutes plus 5 plays.
Now, that possible injury to Mallet is a huge one.
Well, he's back on the
He's back
field.
on the field, but he's still holding that arm. And we saw Anthony Nguyen practice snapping at halftime during the halftime break, which is very smart, obviously. You want to get him as many reps as you can because you won't have that opportunity while the game is going on. A missed snap, something like that. Maloudes are starting with the ball. If there's a bobbled or a bad snap here, that could be the spark 2.5 Dan's need.
That and the red zone targets, like I said, Guillaume Saint-Amand doesn't seem to have dressed for the game. We see Dragan Mallet now. It looks like he may or may not be in the game. That might be difficult since Lafontaine has been so effective in the red zone this game.
Yeah, and I think Saint-Amand is injured on the sideline. I think it might be him on the crutches. I'm not sure. There's a player on the crutches a bit far away. I'm not 100% who it is, but definitely looks like...
Let's say it's him.
Let's say it's him.
Why
It
not?
makes a better story, but it kind of looks like him.
He'll tweet me if I'm wrong.
Well, Mallet's back in.
All right.
That
there we go. We
misresolved.
said all that for
He's
nothing.
going to give it a shot, but maybe he's not going to get too many looks. Maybe if a pass is thrown his way, keeping an eye on it, forget that.
Everything we
First
said
pass
was
goes to
wrong.
him, ignore the entire half.
But he does. He's grimacing in pain, Darren. He doesn't. I mean, it's admirable to see how tough he is. Yeah, he's got those Undertaker tattoos, of course, all over his arms. But I mean, it's great to see him pushing himself so hard in the finals. Hopefully, we'll see him finish the game here.
I think we were calling him the American Badass on the side.
We were.
So
Dragan, the American badass.
Mallet.
Mallet.
I like it. All right, a nickname is born.
Yep, that's what we do when calling the audible.
Well, maybe we'll do other things and
Nope, that's
break
the only
down the
thing.
game. No, just nicknames. That's it. Okay. So looking to his left, Lafortune, another dangerous pass, almost picked off by Joey Taylor.
But all the almost picks off
Haven't
won't
been.
do it.
Yeah.
They won't cut it this game. It's gotten too out of hand. You got to start making serious plays.
But I like that at least they're being more aggressive.
Mhm,
It's been
that's
since
true.
about halfway through the first half. Specifically, Joey Taylor, we've seen him get some good breaks on the balls, but the whole 2.5 Dan's defense looks like they've been a lot more aggressive, and that's what they needed to do.
Yeah, well, that's what we said at the half. That was the one thing that I think was true that we said.
I think we might have said other things.
Good.
I saw Maurice with a nice catch on the right side of the
And
field.
Maiorino with a
Sideline.
good tackle, using the sideline as his friend. It's a defender that never misses, Darren.
Yes, exactly.
Took out my cliche phrase book for this week.
Well, you might need a few more of these from the end of the game because so far it's been all Maloudes.
We'll make our own, if anything. We'll start our own cliches.
Wear that cliche like a cape.
Like a
please.
cape.
Like a cape. Mallet now back to snap. So far, not showing many ill effects to that injury sustained at the end of the first half. Lafortune taking the snap, rolling to his right, and he looks like he's going to run for some yardage. Cutting back
Whoa.
over to the middle, evading
That is-
tacklers. Wow.
That is insane.
That wasn't in the scouting report.
How do you have him pinned against the sideline and let him cut back across the middle like that? That's
And then he
absolutely
cuts to the
insane.
middle and cuts back over to the right, spin move, maybe taking some of those Rashid Ben Abdelkader's classes of spinning. Very effective tactic in Flag Plus football.
I always thought Rushdie would make a great spin teacher.
Good point there. I don't know if the fro might get dampened with all the moisture and
I don't know if that 1980s show Body Break still exists, but if not, we should get it reborn with Rushdie Ben Abdicator as a host.
Bit of trivia. Do you remember who hosted Body Break?
No ideas.
Hal Johnston and Joanne McLeod.
That is terrifying that you remember that. But I do remember Joanne McLeod that you mentioned it.
She was hot. La Fortune surveying the field, looking to his right, cutting back to his left.
Oh, and
that
a
looked
sack.
like a sack to me.
No.
But they're calling it
That's
a complete pass.
That's
complete
insane.
Pass. I'm kind of curious by that one. That one looked like a sack to me.
That is insane. That is a completely blown call. Dirty Dan Laporte had the flag in his hand. I don't know. Maybe I'm seeing it wrong because I want it to be a more
closer
competitive game.
Yeah.
But I don't know. To me, it looked like he had his flag and he was on the ground, and Lafortune got rid of it after the sack had already happened.
And so that's a gain, bringing them up to, again, just at the shadow of the 1 yard line of the 2.5 Dans. The Maloudes have been incredibly successful so far this game. In short yardage situations, in red zone situations. La Fortune has trips to his right this time. We've seen him go a lot to his left, but now he's got it to the right. Likes the matchup, looks left, keeps
Nice
the toe
catch.
tapper in bounds, and that is a touchdown for Anthony Nguyen, a huge player for the game so far.
And you kind of saw it. You kind of saw the defender lining up on the inside. I kind of thought to myself, boy, if this is going to be a square out or something, he's never going to be able to get back there in time. And that's exactly what happened.
Just the defense has really been the Achilles heel. The offense, obviously, when you don't put up any points, doesn't help. But I think 2.5 Dans, I don't know, they look unprepared. You had a press conference with them. You didn't expect this.
No, I didn't. One thing that Danny McPhee mentioned in the press conference was he really had no idea who they were, never watched them play. That's not really a recipe for success in the FBF finals.
Yep, I would agree. Pump fake to the left. La Fortune throws it deep over the middle,
Yeah,
but
he's
she
just
does a
getting rid
good
of it.
decision there.
Very good.
Good pressure by Dan Laporte. Why are you going to risk it? Give them any momentum. Yes, it's only an extra point, but still, it's momentum. A pick six there, suddenly 2.5 Dans, things start clicking. Makes a good decision, throws it out the back of the end zone.
Agreed. So it's 31-0. Maloudes with a huge lead. I got to say, I really just hope at this point 2.5 Dans can put some points on the board, so I have something nice to write about them in next week's article. Because they're great guys, so I hate to see them getting blown out the way they are.
And to be fair, Maloudes, they're doing their part. They have just been dominating.
Absolutely.
Dominating. Pass to Laporte now, going down the right side of the field, and that is going to be a complete pass.
But we do see a flag. There's a flag on the play.
Well, coming in from the other side of the field, in fact. We'll have to see what the call is. Jason Leclerc going to talk it over.
Unless it fell out of Jason's pocket, but
it would have been pretty far for it to fall off. It's at midfield practically.
Well, you never know.
Well, they're discussing it here with the 2.5 Dans offense. There's a false start, and man, was that loud. I heard it all the way from here. I like that official calling it out loud like that. At least I get to know what the call is.
Well, we got a fairly decent-sized crowd here tonight. It's a way to keep the fans engaged.
So, trips to the right of Joey Taylor. He's rolling to his left, though, looking, pats the ball, throws it over the middle.
To no one.
Nobody there. I mean, I would almost be tempted to call that an intentional grounding.
It's tough because the other one was sort of running what looked like a hook and post.
I wouldn't call it, but it was close.
It was close.
Let's put it that way. And it's just been those rollouts. I know you see that's their game, but every time he's rolling to his left, he's trying to throw it down the middle of the field to his right, and it's just awful throws. Really just fluttering.
And he's not getting his feet set, and they're looking horrible coming out of his hand.
Yeah, he's got to get your feet set. A toss now to Maiorino. Throws it back to him. That is legal. Throws it back to Maiorino on the right side of the field. Big gain. We're tiptoeing down the sideline and steps out at about the 12, 13-yard line. Steve Hodhod with the call there. Big play. Finally a big play for them. Like you said, it might be a little bit too late for them, but at least we're seeing something positive from their offense. This is what we should have been seeing all game.
Absolutely. And if anything, scoring now at least make the post-game beer taste a little bit better.
That's right. And as we know, there is pride on the line, but also at stake here is, I think, 2 free pitchers of beer.
Which is the most important thing after the FPF trophy, of course.
Exactly. He's now pumping to the left, rolling to the right. He's got some openings there. Maiorino.
There he goes.
He looked into me.
He did look into me as well.
He looked like he got his hips in, but they're calling him outside of the end zone.
On that 1 yard line again.
I have never seen this many stops on the 1 yard line, but this one I thought was in the end zone.
This is where you call the PZ specialty. You throw it to the snapper's gut. I got a big gut, so it works for me. Danny McPhee, however, is a very different stature. I don't know if they'll have that play in their playbook.
But he's quick. He
is quick.
Off that snap, he could just roll quickly, and if they're not paying attention, he could get it. They're giving him a lot of room off the line. All you have to do is turn and catch.
There it is. There it is. The pizza special.
That's it.
I love it. Go to your favorite diner and order it. It may be a hot dog with some chili sauce on it.
Is that the PZ special?
I would imagine.
Isn't that like a Michigan or something like
Probably, but we're not in Michigan.
that?
We're in PZ land.
So the Peas special. And finally, the 2.5 Dans get on the board. It is 31-6. They're going for a 2-point attempt.
Why
here.
not?
Why not at this point? You need all the points you can
Give your
get.
quarterback a little bit of space to roam.
So my guess, C. Taylor rolling. He's rolling to his left, throwing it a good ball, giving his receiver a chance, but it is incomplete on the left side of the field. It looked
That was
like
actually-
Danny Aylward had a chance on that.
Yeah, but it was actually Fodi Evangelista, Frank the Tank, knocking it out of his boy's hands. You know what? He was just trying to save his quarterback, I think. But I think if he doesn't get in there, swat it down, Aylward comes down with the ball. Tall Dan himself.
It's Tall Dan, right?
Tall Dan, that's right.
See, I'm reading from far away. And
Taladan?
I thought it said Taladan.
It might actually say that because I thought that as well.
That's what it was.
It's
okay.
now 31-6 with Maloudes on top of 2.5 Dans.
Well, it's clever if it is Taladan, but I'm not sure if it's
I don't think so
the
either.
most appropriate thing. I'm hoping it's Tall Dan because he is taller than the other Dans.
Yep. Especially with the half Dan.
Yep. La Fortune taking the snap. It's been all aces for him, and he goes to Dragan Mallet. And a tackle with authority by Danny McPhee.
Doesn't Mallet look like he's trying to make it look like he's not injured? Like he keeps like running routes, calling for the ball. And then you see him like I got sort of the hook up here where I got to see the zoom in.
Yeah.
And I see a grimace on his face after the play, but it's almost like he's hiding it from his quarterback.
Well, and that's the kind of thing when it's your captain who's playing injured and he's your snapper, which obviously making big catch after big catch. He's been one of their best players all game. That's something that can't help but get you excited and get you motivated to close this thing out in style. It is a 31-6 lead for Les Maloudes. Going deep over
wide
the
open.
middle, wide open. Touchdown for Anthony Beauchamp-Freza. He has been their deep threat this game, and he's getting it done over and over again.
And it's not something Maloudes do often, but he's been their deep threat all season long. So when they've needed it, he's done it, and we see why. Getting himself wide open in the middle of the field.
But you see he goes short, and as that defense creeps up, and they have to get aggressive, we said it before, you have to try and make that interception, lulls them to sleep, deep over the middle, wide open for Beauchamp-Freza. It is now a 37-6 lead for Les Maloudes with not much time left in this game. So Nguyen actually coming in for a snap at quarterback, throws it, intercepted. Is he gonna makes a nice move? He might be going for not for 6, but going for 2. Breaks a tackle. He's running out of room though. Still cutting left, right, and that's probably the biggest play of the game for the 2.5 Dans by Tall Dan.
That's more moves than I've ever had in my life on that one play.
And probably more than you will have. Not
Never.
Exactly
I mean,
your game.
my
there.
moves won't get any better as I get older, Darren. But to be honest, on that touchdown play, we saw again Danny McPhee on that fake double rush. When you do that, you have one less guy dropping deep, and that's why Beauchamp-Freza was able to get up and score on that post over the middle.
And Anthony Nguyen coming in at quarterback, a bit of a different look for them.
Mm-hmm.
I guess you're up by a lot. Might
Why
as well
not?
get somebody different in. Like I said, he has thrown some passes for this team in the past. So I guess a good opportunity to get him. Joey Taylor now fakes the handoff to his left, rolling, still there, gaining some yards. This is what I would have liked to see earlier on.
I agreed. Joey Taylor's a fantastic athlete. Why not use your feet? To your point, Darren, the reason why we've seen Sean Lafortune not play quarterback every game is because, as I mentioned, he was in secondary 4, and the games were past his bedtime, the 11 o'clock games. This is a true story. This is actually on the press conference.
Yes? Okay.
So check out the press conference if you got some time.
I will not, because we're calling the game now. It's a bit too late, but intercepted by Nguyen. Man, has this guy been unstoppable all game.
He's been one of their best players on both sides of the ball and all over the field.
Really a big game for him. I would say it's between him, Mallet, and Lafortune for MVP.
I'd say Mallet, just the way he was able to come back into the game. I know we automatically give these awards to quarterbacks, but I'd like to see a bit of snapper love here and give it to Dragan Mallet because he's played an absolutely amazing game. He's my vote for MVP so far in the game.
2.5 Dans.
For the record,
time out here.
For the record, Darren, when I was saying that if you have time to check it out, I was talking about the studio, the fans at home.
Okay.
Not the studio FPF employees.
I gotcha. Hey,
Look at him, we're on camera.
Hey, hi, Mom.
I'm glad I'm wearing clothing in the booth here. I can see why we have a dress code for the FPF finals.
Yes, we finally understand it. That was so professional, Peace.
Very professional. I'm very professional. What about you, Darren?
I'm very
What about
professional
John?
as well. Although I could use a bottle of water if anyone's listening. I'm not drinking from your bottle of
All
water,
right,
Peace.
just saying.
That's yours. You
I
have another
offered.
game after. You might die.
That's true. I might.
yeah.
I might.
So quick time out there for 2.5 Dans. I think it was more them needing a breather than any major strategic shift. Trips look for La Fortune, and I know you mentioned that you're looking at Maloudes as MVP. I think I have to look at La Fortune. He's been amazing this game so far.
He has been,
And
but
Nguyen gets
Ooh.
practically tackled,
Ooh.
flags on the play, still running, and then finally stopped.
you can't horse collar in the NFL. You definitely can't horse collar in FPF.
Definitely not. If you're grabbing the guy's neck, it's probably a bit too high. You are aiming for that waist.
I'm not sure what Maloudes means. What I've heard in the past is it could mean superior race. I've heard it's a take on Malad. But a production note here from our video operator DZ Delarizi is that Maloudes means sleeveless. As we
Is it
see
really?
Dragon Mallet rocking those hardcore tattoos.
All right. Well, we learned something.
We did.
Hopefully, we're teaching you.
I'm pretty
At
sure
all?
that's made up.
I don't know. How trustworthy is these? I don't know.
Not at all. He
Well-
drinks so much.
Rolling to his right now, La Fortune gaining some yards, but it's all over. But the cheering for Les Maloudes and the crying for 2.5 Dans here. Thoughts on this game as we kind of watch it wind down here, please?
You know what? It's great either way for 2.5 Dance to get to this point. Playoff experience in FPF is huge. They did so well without it. Now seeing them in this game, we're seeing that they've learned a lot. And I'm looking forward to seeing them come back in the spring, taking that knowledge, maybe come back with a 7th player at the very least.
Maybe
and
8 even? Crazy thought?
maybe 8, but you know what? I think that the experience is invaluable, and I look forward to seeing them grow in the spring season.
I think that's a good call for you, but I also think that maybe they could add another Dan. Maybe make it 3.5 Dans.
3.5 Dance. You sort of lose the pop culture reference, but it's kind of old anyway, so why not? We saw a double rush on that play as Danny McPhee also tried to take it after the quarterback. Just sort of anything to create some excitement for 2.5 Dance, and perhaps for us
For
who stuff
us,
to
yeah, that would be nice.
broadcast the game.
That would be nice. But I know you talked about it from the 2.5 Dan standpoint. What about from the Maloudes standpoint?
Well, you know what? They're a team no one really expected to get here. To be fair, 2 of the games they lost during the season were without La Fortune at quarterback. We can see how big a piece he is. I think, let's call it the I don't know, what can we call this formation? We keep seeing it.
I don't know. It's the formation that hasn't really worked.
No.
How about we call it that?
Sure, because it hasn't all game.
It really hasn't been working for them, bringing up 4th down for Les Maloudes here. Obviously not going to be a major difference maker in this game, but still, it's an important moment all the same. I think that for Les Maloudes, my question is this a team you see moving into D4 next season? They're champions.
I think
if
so.
they bring back the same team, they have to, but I'm saying, it's a team, do you think they'll succeed?
I think so. I think they're a strong enough team. There may be a couple of pieces they might want to look at, but I think everyone plays a specific role, which is, there we go, another touchdown, tidying up the score. I think it's okay. It's not La Fortune's job to stop his own offense, so
Nope.
he's doing what he's got to do. But I think to your point, Darren, I think they're a team that can move up. As you move up into the higher divisions, you see that players have specific defined roles, sort of who's a possession receiver, who's a corner, who's a safety. I think we see that with Maloudes, and if that continues to be the case, I think that they have enough skilled players to be able to do that. And we see actually Captain Dragon Mallet with a snap.
Getting a shot at QB. I guess it's anything goes, but odd to see a guy who injured shoulder. Obviously, it was his left shoulder, not his throwing shoulder, but I guess everybody's getting in on the act. Who do you
Why
think's
not?
next throwing a pass?
Let's. I'd like to see Min. 43-6.
You'd like to
Maloudes
see Min
leave. Why
Hai
not throw
Dan
Min in
Twin.
there? Sorry.
Min Hai Dan Twin.
Yeah, he's my
I'm
boy.
assuming that's how it's pronounced. I
My
really hope
boy
it is.
Min.
Yes.
That's the great part of being the color commentators. You don't actually have to know anyone's names.
You could just call them by their first name or
Yeah,
give them nicknames.
and start nicknaming people like American Badass Dragon Mallet.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know what else to say for the 2.5 Dans. It's not really a style. It's a style of play. I remember you talking about it before, Pease, that you always thought they would lose. There's a reason for that because it's just not sustainable, especially not with 6 guys. I don't know. Do you think Joey Taylor is the quarterback of the future for them?
I think so. I think because he's got a lot of athleticism, and I think he's a smart enough quarterback, and he knows sort of what works. But he's got to learn. He's got to learn really how to be able to call plays and throw from the pocket rather than rolling out on every single play.
It's going to be a big part. We've seen some decent balls here being thrown by him. It seems like he's starting to plant his feet a little bit more, get a bit more muscle behind those deep throws, but it's not his game, as you said.
It's not.
And that's not a problem.
We've seen that work.
Yeah.
We see that, I mean, even in as high, we see, for example, in higher divisions, a guy who's standing to our right, Danny Gentili, is not necessarily known for chucking it deep, but he knows how to get guys open. And I think Joey Taylor is one of these guys who can develop into that kind of quarterback, just a smart player who can get his guys working in space.
Taylor again moving to his
Much
left.
love, though, Danny.
That is not intercepted. It was a great effort by, I believe that was Morissette. He did come down with the ball, but he came down out of bounds.
Maybe the referees are just trying to make it to be a little more entertaining.
No, he was out of bounds. He was like a good foot out of bounds.
Agree to disagree. A win in Rome.
There's no win in Rome. That was not in bounds. Deez, what do you think? He was in bounds.
I got the
I don't
video
think he was
camera
in bounds. I think you guys are nuts. I think De La Rocca's need some eye exams.
Probably.
Taylor throwing over to the right, and it is caught by Foti Evangelista, or as you called him, Frank.
Yeah, apparently it means the same thing.
Okay.
So
Frank it is. Frank the Tank.
Foti the Tank.
It doesn't work, really.
But
Foti the
again,
Foti?
we see Taylor rolling out again, throwing across his body. He gets it to work, but against athletic defenses like Les Maloudes, we saw it not work. It worked on that play. They won't get away with it every time, and that's sort of what happened in this game.
Absolutely. I'm kind of running out of things to say here, Pisa. Have you changed your opinion? Oh, that was a great break on the ball there by Beauchamp Freza, I believe.
Beauchamp Freza got there nice and early, but he sort of waited on the ball and got around the body to make sure that he wouldn't get penalized for it.
Yeah, it was. Well, I mean, there's no point at this point. I don't think we're going to see any of the craziness that marred the end of the TCO Maloudes game.
No, I mean, often it's close games where you see it degenerate into that.
Yeah.
And I'm happy to say that Maloudes actually seem to have learned from that, and they've just sort of played their game. And we've seen the results. They've looked better than ever. Yeah. I think when they come back next season, if they just sort of keep this type of demeanor, just sort of focus on your own game rather than tripping with the other team, I think that they'll see greater and greater results.
I'm very impressive for them to. I feel like they really did overcome some adversity in this game. You know, your captain gets injured at halftime. Now he's been out by a lot, but they still put the foot on the pedal. It's been a long night, and it's only going to get longer. But they really kept up the pressure on 2.5 Dans. In the second half, they've kept it up. One major target for them, Jananji, suspended. Another player, Guillaume Saint-Amand, not playing. And it didn't stop them at all.
No.
And I think you have to give a lot of that credit to Sean Lafortune and his offense.
Yes, and he just basically, it's nothing complicated, but he gets the ball to his guys on plays that work. And just as a side note, because it's gotten to that point, we had Marino scoring and putting another score up for 2.5 Dans.
And another catch, this time by Dirty Dan Lepore, number 69. For the extra point.
Kind of wish his last name was Laporne. That'd be awesome. His name was Dirty Dan Laporne.
Well, we called one guy Taladan, so I mean, we're not far off. While we're at it, let's just get more and more offensive. Scores 43-12 now. Yeah,
and I mean, it's a game that's gotten out of hand. It's unfortunate, but you know what? The one side of this we can look at is, at least for 2.5 Dans, that they got to this dance, and for Les Maloudes, at least they got to dance with the pretty girl.
Yep, it was a great job by the 2.5 Dans. I think everything you described as moves for them in the future were very, very intelligent suggestions. I think it's something that they.
It's the only thing I do well, Darren, is build teams. I'm not a very good player, so I got to be able to fill my team with talent.
And then big catch and yardage by Morissette, cutting back to his right, and he might go for 6.
Oh no!
Finally stopped
Mr.
by
Taladan.
the Taladan. This is offensive. I'm going to call him Taldan from now on.
Fair enough.
But great play by Morissette, and he's another guy who's been huge for them.
Yeah.
Honestly, I can't think of one guy who hasn't
And
contributed.
he was big in the Cougars game where they won 38-0, taking back 2 pick sixes. But I mean, he's big on both sides of the ball. He's just a fantastic athlete. We saw him making some great cuts, and we've seen that from both teams. But late in the game, it's really been the guys on Les Maloudes sort of strutting their stuff.
And it's been every single name has been mentioned in a significant role, I find, so far, Pease. Go up and down the roster. Everyone had a big moment in this game, and that's what you want to see. That's often the teams that are like that, teams that are more complete but also have good depth. These are the teams that win, and look at them. 2 huge receiving targets for them, out for the game, and they didn't miss a beat.
And I mean, for 2.5 downs all season long, they were able to spread the ball out, get everyone involved. Unfortunately, we didn't see that today, and I think that sort of plagued them. Again, on the double rush this time, they did seem to give Lafortune a little bit of trouble.
Yep, 5 plays left now. It's almost over.
Yes.
It's almost
It's
over.
painful to watch.
Painful to watch. It
My
hasn't
eyes
been
are
close
metaphorically
very quickly.
bleeding.
Yes. Mine are literally bleeding.
Wow, you should probably see a doctor about that. Darren Basmachan.
I don't get it. These keeps pointing at sleeveless.
Yeah. He's really happy about that. So
He's very sleeveless is at quarterback. Is that it?
There it is.
Hey,
there it is.
There it is. Going over to this left side, an attempted pass towards Louis-Philippe Paquette. Incomplete, out of his fingers. 4 plays left now.
Yeah, that was another overthrow by the American badass Dragan Millet. I'm going to attribute it to his injury because he's been so awesome, and I still think, despite these poor throws, just being the emotional leader, being able to be there for his quarterback in the red zone, to me, he is absolutely the player of the game. But I know it won't go to him because quarterbacks get all the glory while snappers do all the work.
Well, I'm sorry. I think Lafortune did deserve it.
Meh.
He's icing down his shoulder on the sideline now, giving everyone else a chance to go. Nguyen with a toss, intercepted. That was not a good decision, and he is stopped at midfield, but an interception. A little bit of happiness for the Dirty Dan team.
And some flags
There's
come
a
in
flag.
as Fodi Evangelista unnecessarily tosses the ball to Les Maloudes. You know what? It is absolute. It doesn't. There's no
There's
need
no
for
need.
this.
There's no need. The
Be
game's
mad at
over.
your team
Yeah.
for playing so horribly.
Yeah.
Don't be mad at the other team at this stage in the game.
And at this point, we see that Dragan Mallet asking for the game to be basically called at this point. There's no point in playing anymore if it's going to get chippy, and I agree with him. I think that's the good decision.
And we see actually members of 2.5 Downs actually getting into it with the referees.
Like, what are you arguing about at this point?
And if they send a guy off like they are doing, you have nothing to gain because you're only 6 players. You got to be smart. I even mentioned that in my article. Be smarter. What's the point in a game like this getting out of hand for you to lose one of your guys? You know what I mean? Like, just try and enjoy the moment. I know you're down by a ton, but there's still a lot to celebrate in a season like this.
Absolutely, and there's a lot to learn from this situation as well.
Yeah, it's your first season.
Yeah, exactly, and you make it all the way to the finals playing a style of play that not many people expected to get you this far. Taylor, when his last snaps here, he's going for a run right down the right side of the field, getting extra yardage, and I kind of feel that this is something that they should have done more of during the game.
Yeah.
I mentioned it all game, and I think it's good. It's good because a lot of times you see quarterbacks say, "Well, I'm not a running quarterback." This guy's a running quarterback.
Just be an athlete and make plays for your team.
This is the place for you in Division 5. Yes, in Division 1 it might not work, but in Division 5, you know what your strength is.
Mm-hmm.
Run. Once you set up the run, it sets up your short passes. Once you set up your short passes, sets up the deep ones.
Exactly.
But if you don't do that, if you don't establish that threat of running from the start, there's no point. But it has to be said, he's been facing some very difficult rushers here.
Absolutely.
It's been very tough. And now we see Dragan Mallet going
But
in
let's
for the
do
rush.
everything this game.
There's nothing he hasn't done. He's thrown a pass. He's caught a pass. He's caught a touchdown. I don't think he's intercepted the ball,
Yeah.
so maybe there's an opportunity for that. He's rushing the quarterback now.
Yeah, I'm going to give him the PZ Delarizi Player of the Game award. It's not an official award. It doesn't mean anything. But why not name an award after myself? So there we go.
Well, it's a 43-12 score, and we are now at the last play of the game.
It is
As
finally
the
ending.
last play of the Division 5 season. Taylor gaining some yardage, rolling to the left. He wants to throw that ball. He doesn't want to run. It's the last play. He wants a touchdown.
And a sack.
Dragan Mallet.
Dragan Mallet.
You called it. You wanted the sack. A nice celebratory hug at the end from Joey Taylor, and I respect that a lot in a player. And really an incredible game for Les Maloudes, dominating from start to finish.
And then we are the Division 5 champions, Les Maloudes, the 9th seed in Conference A, coming out ahead of 2.5 Downs.
And now we are getting ready to see the championship presentation to Captain Dragan Mallet. Very deserving champions. You know, I was disappointed with the outcome after last week, after last Sunday's incident, but very deserving champions to the Maloudes. Final thoughts on this season, Pease, as the Division 5 analyst.
As Division 5 analyst, it's been fun to watch them all season. Sean Lafortune's been one of my favorite quarterbacks. It was awesome that he didn't play those games because it hurt Simon Dagenet's fantasy team. But when he was on the field, it was a pleasure to watch. The whole team has been a pleasure to watch. You know what? I didn't agree with how that last game ended, but I never thought they were bad guys. I think they're a very talented group of guys, and they're just really... You know, once they focus that energy and focus on their own team and harnessing their own success, I think that we'll see a lot of success for them moving on in the future as well.
And as we see Robert Campana, president of FPF, hands the playoff MVP trophy to quarterback Sean Lafortune. And I think it's very well deserved. I know you don't like it, Pease.
No. I think he does deserve it. I do think that, in my mind, Dragan Mallet was the MVP of this game, but Lafortune, absolutely amazing. He's been their season MVP at the very least anyway.
Well, guess what? He gets to bring the trophy home.
Exactly.
So that's the best one. I like the playoff MVP trophy, but the championship trophy is a hell of a lot better.
It probably won't get him any women, but it should.
I don't think I can add anything to that, Pease. Nope. I think that's it. As we see the championship T-shirts being handed out, congratulations to the Division 5 champions, Les Maloudes. Now we go back to the studio for some post-game wrap-up with Mokan, Simon Dagenet, and George Michael Calethras. Back to you, boys.
Je suis ici avec Dragan Mallet des Maloudes après une magnifique victoire en finale contre Two and a Half Dance. Salut Dragan, comment ça va?
Ça va bien toi?
Ça va très bien, merci. Tes pensées sur la game, qu'est-ce qui s'est passé, comment ça a été? Est-ce que ça a très bien été, mal été pour vous?
Ben, ça a très bien été, honnêtement. On est arrivé, puis on a juste chaud, puis on a commencé à jouer, puis ça a bien été dès le début. On a eu des gros jeux. Puis je pense pas que sans être méchant pour l'autre équipe, il n'était pas un match pour nous aujourd'hui. On n'a pas eu de match. C'est nous qui a donné le match. Eux, ils étaient pas. Je sais pas s'ils ne sont pas présentés. Je sais pas s'il manquait leurs joueurs ou quoi que ce soit, mais je sais juste que s'ils ont fini 9-1 dans leur conférence, j'aurais voulu jouer dans leur conférence. Je pense qu'on aurait fini 10-0.
OK. Vous avez une excellente offensive. Les passes marchaient super bien. Sean Lafortune a une excellente partie. Défensivement, on peut le dire, vous avez complètement shut down Two and a Half Dance. Votre game plan, initialement, c'était quoi?
On n'avait pas de game plan. On était dans le locker room avant la game, puis on se disait, OK, les gars, c'est quoi notre game plan? Puis il n'y a personne qui est venu avec aucun game plan. On s'est juste dit qu'on allait faire ce qu'on fait depuis le début de la saison. On va garder ça simple en défense, garder ça simple en attaque. En attaque, on va prendre ce qu'ils nous donne en défense. Puis en défense, on va essayer de faire les jeux, on va s'adapter à comment ils jouent. Puis je pense qu'on a bien fait ça. Je pense que Anthony Beauchamp a fait un très bon match avec beaucoup de batted balls. Puis tout ça. Fait que je pense que c'est ça. On n'avait pas de game plan, puis on a juste arrivé, puis on a commencé à jouer, puis on a fait ce qu'on voulait, on jouait.
Un futur pour les Maloudes à FPF?
Je pense qu'on va pouvoir y penser. Je pense qu'on va regarder qu'est-ce qu'il y en a. Je sais qu'il y a beaucoup de gars qui partent à l'étranger pour avoir des stages. Donc, c'est sûr que s'il y en a plusieurs qui reviennent, puis si l'intérêt est là, on va considérer l'hiver 2014 en Division 4 parce qu'on a gagné Division 5.
Parfait. Merci beaucoup, Dragan.
Merci à toi. Merci beaucoup.
And welcome back here for the Div 5 recap post-game show here. Jim Claretta, Simon Dagenet, as Les Maloudes win 43-12. It was a lot, 43 to a lot at one point here. At one point, it was 31-0 for Les Maloudes as they win quite easily. I'll start with you, Simon. Your thoughts, first half, it seemed like Les Maloudes had their number from the get-go.
Well, the Maloudes played an awesome offense. Their defense was shredding Joey Taylor's style. Everything went their way. Everything went their way tonight.
GM, you look at this game here, and you look at Les Maloudes, their defense played very well. It seemed like that Two and a Half Dan's offense could not get going early on, and it kind of cost them this game. Is that the difference with them not doing so well?
Yes, absolutely. I mentioned in the pregame that Joey Taylor might have to do some adjustments once he starts to get into a rhythm. Les Maloudes they've got solid defenders, and they adapted to it, and you saw it there. There were red zone turnover after turnover after turnover, and it was just heartbreaking at one point. Interceptions, they never really got going. The first half was a nightmare for them. They started off well, you had a glimpse of greatness, and then it just got completely shut down.
You see Les Maloudes, and of course they were able to come over the suspension as well, Simon. Did you feel that this team really showed its best tonight, or could there be more for them down the road where, as a young team, they're learning how to play this game here, but could they get even better for what they showed from tonight?
I think that the Maloudes got a lot to learn. I think from their style of play, they've been playing great. They show a lot of potential, a lot of talent, a lot of athleticism. But I think that once they learn FPF a little more, the rules, how to play around the league, what plays to do when, they're going to be a lot better than what they are right now.
GM, 2.5 Dans, of course, 6 guys, and we talked about it in the pregame. Would their depth be stretched out? It seemed like they were fatigued going into the second half, and I think, personally speaking, it did hurt their chances in this football game, considering La Maloudes had about 3 guys on the bench as depth players that came in and had a big factor.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, even before the first half ended, right, Les Maloudes called a timeout, which was surprising to me because 2.5 Dans were so tired. They relished that timeout. They were able to get some water, relax, have a seat. It was killing them, the back and forth pace. Like I said, when you're 6, you can either do 100% on offense or 100% on defense. You don't have the opportunity to do both. You're really, really worn out. Absolutely, it hurt them. This may be something for them to consider next spring or next winter, maybe adding a second player, so have 2 guys as well to be able to swap. And a roster of 8 is actually ideal in my opinion.
Guys, I'll ask you this general question. I'll go with you, GM, first. NFL, we see the read option now, very popular with the San Francisco 49ers, Carolina Panthers. We saw Les Maloudes use that in their game with the read option of a running back getting the handoff or the quarterback keeping it and passing it to whoever was open. Do you think this will be the new wave of offense here in the FPF?
Absolutely not. This is some. Well, do you want my opinion or not? As we move up, you see much more capable rushers who are able to take away that, not only that read, but they can adjust between the two of them. You've got capable rushers who are quick on their feet. You've got taller rushers as well who just reach out and grab the flag. It's not something that's generally used. Not only that, you're losing a receiver on the line, and we know that as you move up in the division, the defenders are a lot more capable, and giving them less receivers to cover is not a good idea. You've got capable rushers coming in fast like Matt Kerouac, Ryan Aridi, Colin Taylor on the Mocon himself. Yeah, these are all mostly fast guys who come in and are able to adjust on a dime. So they just shift their weight, and they can go from the quarterback to the running back with relative ease. I think that's something that's definitely going to need to be rectified as they move up. They're going to see when it'll work and when it doesn't. So I don't think it's something that's definitely not the new wave of the future, especially not for FPF. It's not something you see in Division 1, Division 2, no.
Or even Division 3 for that matter. Simon, what do you think with your history of playing Div 5, of course, and playing the lower divisions, will this be the new wave of offense for the FPF in the lower divisions?
I think that, as this article, Jem's laid on the news, I think that's something that should work a few times. It won't work every single play, but I think it's something that could work once or twice during the game, even 3-4 times. It might trick the rusher once or twice. That might give you the extra yard you need. That first down you really need, and that might be the key play that could change the game around.
All right, guys, quickly here. Where do you see both these teams next, whether they're coming back in spring, if not for next winter? Where do you see them? Will it be Div 4 or will they all be in Div 5?
Well, because of the win, Les Maloudes will have to move up. I don't think that they're going to be back this spring. This is just my guess because a lot of them are tackle players. A lot of tackle players take the spring season off because they're getting ready in training camps and they're getting ready. They've got finals as well. A lot of them are still in high school, so that's something to consider as well. That being said, 2.5 Dans, Division 5 was a learning experience for them. They could come into D4. They can still go in D5 as well, despite being finalists. We've seen finalists in D5 make finals and then not even make playoffs the following year because of the height of the competition in Division 5. So I think that Division 5 would be perfect for 2.5 Dans, who surprised a lot of teams throughout the season this year. They might come back as favorites, do a little bit better. They may have strengthened their playbook as well. So I'd say D4 for Les Maloudes, D5 for 2.5 Dans. I don't know if the Dans will be back for spring.
Simon, same question. What do you see these two teams, whether it's spring or winter next season?
I'm going to have to agree with GM on this one. I think Les Maloudes should go to 4 with the newly earned experience. I think they can do great in Division 4. 2.5 Dans should go back to 5 simply because they might have to add an extra player or two. That being said, an extra roster, new players, if they're new, they're not even experienced players, you might want to go back down the division, stay in the same one, learn a little bit more, maybe even be favorite, and see what's going to happen from that point on.
All right, guys, one word here, letter for this game, A, B, C, D, F, or maybe F-, which is unheard of. What is your letter grade?
I would give this a C. I mean, we came into this knowing who would be dominant. Les Maloudes were dominant, so there wasn't that much tight back and forth. We did see some key plays, a lot of drop picks by 2.5 Dans, which is a little bit heartbreaking. But all in all, Division 5 has been a good season thus far. We've had powerhouses who had early exits. We've had teams who have surprised us. So I'd give it a C up until this point. It's had its ups and downs.
Simon, what letter grade would you give this?
Just because I don't want to be like GM, I'm gonna have to say C minus. It's been a decent game. It wasn't the best. It wasn't the worst. There was a lot of potential in the game. We see a lot of good plays that didn't end up doing amazing. We saw Les Maloudes play amazing football. We saw 2.5 Dans do good plays. It just didn't go their way tonight, so I'm going to have to go with a C minus.
All right, so there you have it, guys. The Div 5 recap from GM and Simon. Thank you very much, guys, for your hard work. I want to thank everyone included in this broadcast. Of course, we hope you enjoyed Darren and, of course, PZ Delarizzi, Paulo Della Rocca with the color commentary and the play-by-play for both of them as they endeavor into that world of broadcasting, my world, that is. And thank you to everyone involved, you guys, especially with the Div 5, Div 4, Div 3, all the coverage that you guys done this year. And to all the viewers who are watching this game, to the podcast listeners, to the writers, thank you very much, guys, for your hard work and dedication. Congratulations, Les Maloudes. You are now the Div 5 Winter Champions. And the magic words, please. We have not done this in a long time here, GM, so let's hear it. Magic words, please.
From all of us at the Weekly Extra Point Live, we'll see you next season.
Wait a minute, that's me. We'll see you May 15th for the 2013 spring season. Good night.